Hey, Krissy.
Hey Neil, how's it going?
Good. It's good to see you.
It's great to see you too. I'm so excited. And it is my debut on Portal to
I
Ascension, so
know, right?
I'm
It's
super
about time.
excited for it. All right.
Yeah,
This is all divine timing, right? That's it.
it is.
All
Well,
divine.
I appreciate you so much. I shared it in the intro, but I just love your perspective, and you're one of the first people. Everybody here, this is really well curated event, but just your whole perspective on the light and dark, and how do we bring peace to it and walk that middle path, right? So I'm excited for what you're going to share today. You can go ahead and take it away.
All right. Well, thank you so much, my friends, for being here for this. This is a very interesting topic that is near and dear to my heart. How do we walk this fine line between the light and the dark? So, I am a channeler, and this is where I really focus on connecting people with different energies. When I came here and incarnated, I chose the path of not having a tag per se, right? So, I am meant to bring forth all messages from all beings. When I first woke up, I struggled because I was surrounded by darkness. My guides were literally black clouds. it was it was hard, but I remember the first time I saw one when I had my first shamanistic journey in a class. I was being held by a black cloud, and I just sobbed because it was so beautiful. And in this process, I had to struggle with, teachers saying, "Only the light is allowed through, and only this is allowed through," and it was like it created fear, but the thing that felt the most home for me were some of these darker, heavier energies, and that was hard to deal with. How do you deal with that? How like, I'm a mom with kids, and this is like, you know, I just want happiness, I want peace. So how do I deal with these energies that feel like home when I'm here to find peace and find this balance and open up to, love and compassion. And through that journey, I began to be able to accept myself a little bit more. I remember the first time that like I was like, I think my guides are all demons. And you know, to me now, the word is very different than it was at the beginning. We lump everything into, this is a demon, this is an angel, and really it's all interdimensional energy that is, it can be an actual entity, or it can be an egregore. So this brings us kind of into this next story of how we're connecting to things. And don't worry, I will channel for you in a little while, but these are some things that are going to get us to the path of what we're going to be channeling about. So, when we're tapping into this idea of the collective consciousness of what an egregore is, if you don't know what an egregore is, it is essentially a story that a collective holds on to, and it creates its own energy. It creates its own, essentially, a being. Last summer, I had a really cool experience at a paranormal convention where I got to channel Ed Warren, who is the father of paranormal investigation, basically. Um, and so, in that, he came through to talk about the different types of hauntings and paranormal things that we see come up. And one of them that was the most powerful was the egregore, the horror story that begins to amplify, and every time it's told it gets scarier, and it becomes its own real being. When we're looking at these energies of demons and these heavy things, right? A lot of that is collective consciousness that has created the story. So when I first began to channel, and open to it, the energies that were coming through were uh, heavy, right? Were heavy. And I channeled Ball at one point, and it was terrifying because the first energy that came through was like I felt it in my body, and it was scary, it was heavy, it was hungry, hungry. And I disassociated. I was working with my mentor at the time, which is very important when you're channeling. Work with somebody, have somebody who can be your guiding light in it, right? And when I went back into it again, I disassociated and channeled a guide then from there, and they spoke through it, and then I channeled a different energy that was ball, right? And one was the story that humanity has created about who Baal is, which was a child eating energy. The other one was a divine aspect of it, right? A higher aspect, a higher elevated point of view, the true ascended energy, right? Because all time is now. These things that are down here on lower dimensional frequencies, really dense fear, anger, all these things, they've already transmuted. Everything always go, this cycle is a loop. Everything has already happened, and we all go back to source at the end. That's it. Everything exploded and then it goes back in. And so we all get to that point where we get back there. And so by channeling that endpoint energy, the ascended version of it, you get a very different perspective on what light and dark is and what this energy means. So it's important to remember um, these different energies. And even when we're channeling loved ones and spirit guides and things like that, human energy is what creates a lot of this negativity, right? Because we have that light and the dark. And when we're in human form, we're here to experience. We are here to play around, to see what feels good, to see what we want. Our higher self, our soul, our oversoul is guiding our path to have a particular experience to report back to source, because we're all just source, incarnated. And so in that, we have to remember that this path that we're on, that we're walking, these things that we're experiencing are here to give us a different perspective, to give us this reminder that human energy is what's truly unresolved human energy, like imbalanced chakras, imbalanced expectations, we'll call it, our ego being out of check, not finding that middle pillar, that balance of light and dark. Because, right, remember if we go too light, we can become also excessively righteous and hateful, right? We become what we hate. We become the thing that we're shunning, which is the dark over here. And so we have to find that balance of compassion and anchoring in that 12th dimensional version of ourself, which is, that really centered being that understands that they are both light and dark, that they are both, masculine and feminine, that it is the duality, the balance of the duality that brings us into that center point where we can create everything. So we've talked a little bit about these different ideas and concepts of like light and dark and how we see things. But another thing that I want to touch on as we're doing this, because a lot of people here have experienced things like past lives, and one of the things that can be very challenging is seeing past lives that might be dark. We shun them. Many people aren't willing to look at how they experienced the Orion Wars. Which side were they on in it? And as we are elevating in consciousness, as we are pulling in more light codes from our higher self, as we are tapping into higher aspects of our dimensional frequency, we start to embody even more of the soul fragments, right? So that means we can technically be holding the coding for an Orion War experience where we are on both sides at the same time. And this can be hard to wrap your mind around, right? The idea that we have these energies in us that are holding the oppressive power role and the disempowered, disenfranchised, person who is a victim. So we hold that both in us. I personally have had a very hard time accepting some of the things that have come up for myself. I might cry a little bit because it's hard. It's hard to feel those things. It's hard to feel that, okay, I was a seer and led draconians into war and told them what was going to happen so that they could do the thing that they wanted to do, which was take over, right? It's hard to say those words out loud, to feel them. I loved what Zoe brought up earlier, though, that we don't always have to look at everything. We're going to see the things that we have to see in order for our true ascension and to really work through this stuff and to have it. But there is emotionality that can come with it, even if we're not seeing it. So you have to sometimes get a little bit of an inkling of what happened in order to be able to clear it. Part of the reason why I see some of these things is because I had to accept the part of me that was dark. I also have to accept the part of me that is light, right? And understand that I am not just those dark, heavy stories, that energy. I am not just the light, right? I am both. I am everything because I am 12th dimensional consciousness in a body, right? Trying to aim into anchoring that in. I am source. And so one of the things that has been a solace for me, I will say, and helps me to get through this and to work into this is that idea and understanding that we have to deprogram these powerful stories that the collective tells you, right? These powerful things of, you're reptilian, you're horrible, you're all reptilians are bad, and like these narratives, these programs are built into us. Even when we're waking up, right? We hear the human version of it, and then you start to hear the energetic version of that, and so it's trying to reconcile these things in your mind, which can be challenging. And the one thing that I felt was very helpful was going to see this idea that I understand. I am source. We are all, right? We are all God here experiencing itself. And we are everything and nothing. And we are this duality, this polarity, this um, this sacred dance of the divine energies going back and forth. I want to underline something for some people because we're in this community where a lot of people talk about their past lives and some of the most beautiful lives that they've experienced, right? And they get very hung up on that. And that can be hard to look at, right? That can be hard to feel that because people come in and they have imprints and memories from being Yeshua, being in these incredible life change Merlin, and and here I am, and I'm like, what about Vlad the Impaler? Like, yeah, that's not. I want that. Like, what's it? What? Right? And so it can be. I've had nice lives too, right? I want to underline that as well. We all have, but to be able to truly step into our power, we have to kind of release that. I am not who I was then, right? I am not that person. I'm not those past lives are encoded in my cells and in my body, but there's a lot of lives and a lot of things that balance it out. And so as I've been working through all of these lifetimes and all of these experiences, I've gotten to this point where I've learned who I was in past lives doesn't really matter, because it is what I'm doing with that now in this life. What impact am I using? How am I using this gift that I have? How am I using this energy to make people more confident in their abilities? And so I want you all to remember that. It is what you do in this life with that pain, with that trauma, with those experiences, with the coding and the gifts that you've been able to hold. What are you doing in this life? Because some of the people that I have seen who have done the most incredible um, progress, we'll say, the most incredible ability to lift others up are those who have those darker past lives, those who have these hard, darker energies within them, who have had to deal with it, who have had to look at it, who have looked at it, right? Because everyone has it. Some people deny it, and some people really choose to understand. And when you choose to understand and see it, you have compassion. So the next thing that we're going to do is bring through a channeling. Um, while I have opinions on who comes through sometimes it's allowing all of this to happen, right? And so today I'm going to be channeling the light bearer. I am going to be bringing through the energy of the oversoul, right? The original energy of who we now know today as Lucifer, to help understand some of these different nuances and to truly feel the energy. As I'm in there, I want you guys to feel how it feels in your body, to understand what it is to look at things that humanity has now deemed or shifted to create darkness. And how does it feel in your system? Where are you feeling love? Where are you feeling, compassion? Where are you feeling hate? Where are you feeling these negative feelings, this ickiness, this sticky? And as you're in it, I want you to place your hands on that spot. If you're feeling the love, place your hands there. Feel it amplify. If you're feeling anxious somewhere, place your hands there. Breathe into it. Breathe light. At the end of the day, we are all source, and we are all trying to find balance within. So, without further ado, I shall start the channel. Viashkoroto kiera kia sia toroko o mpere ti a teroko oira kia shasa airoko oira te fia toroko oira ka shio so. Good day. It is quite lovely to be here with all of you in this human experience. I am who you call Lucifer. I am also known as the light bearer, the morning star. Truthfully, I prefer the latter. It's important to remember that in this experience, it is humanity that is evolving in its consciousness. You are a fractal of many things, and the human collective is one of them. While many of you identify as star seeds, this does not remove you from the collective of humanity, for you chose to come here, to be brave, to experience because of your curiosity, because of your call to order, to power, to emotion, because of the draw of the unique human choice. In this experience here, You are given so many opportunities to thrive and to fail. You are given opportunities to raise up others or tear them down. Each choice you make influences the next. In these choices, you are gifted an opportunity. Do you choose to go deeper down in your curiosity? Or do you choose to elevate, to see what it is to ascend? Now, many people that are here who hold parts of the oversoul that come from mine experience challenges such as addiction, because when you hold the energy of light, of bliss, of love, you dive deep into anything that can bring you closer back to that feeling. In that, you are becoming. You are becoming through your experience what you need to be. Addicts of all kinds are continually looking for that next round of bliss to get them closer to home, closer to that feeling of belonging, removing the pain, because they feel that light and they seek it. This challenge arises for many. But it is important to remember that in this, it is the true energy of wanting to belong to the light that causes people to embrace the dark. There are others who experience, we shall say, power grabs and struggles. Those who wish to hold more within their hand because they understand the true gifts. This is what you see when you look at Luciferian cults and the religion of it. They understand the power of energetic manipulation and what it can bring them. In that, they allow their unbalanced energies to perpetuate more, bigger, more grandiose gestures of working towards garnering more power. It is the desire to hold more of that light and that energy and that knowledge that ultimately can bring people to an energy of darkness. There are others who hold this energy, this imprint, that are truly here working through each challenge to transmute and to show the way. The light bearers, as there are many, stand before you, working through the shadow, embracing it, holding it, to bring forth powerful change for themselves and for others. In this experience, you are here, setting forth on a journey to hold both the light and the dark of your experience. You may allow it to send you into a spiral, or you can allow it to elevate you, to bring you compassion, to enable you to anchor in the highest version of yourself. One of the most powerful ways for the human to truly find that balance is by anchoring in the higher aspects of self. When you are connected fully to your 12th dimensional being, you cannot be swayed in one way or the other. You are living in the balance of the light and the dark. If you choose, you may accept this next transmission that will enable you to clear and open parts of you to allow your 12th dimensional self through. We understand that people are quite uncomfortable with the energy that has been brought forth, and we have decided to step in to allow the energy to flow through of the transmission, but at a higher frequency of light, to give you the understanding of the contrast of what you are all looking to embody and experience. We are the Angelic Collective, and we will pass this over to Michael to allow him to help you anchor in the energy of your highest self. It is so wonderful to be here with you all. You are all divine beings of light, and it is important to remember that. You are source in a vessel. I ask you all to place your hands on your heart. Kira kyo kora kira siata iroko. Feel the energy of source flow through your crown. Allow it to expand. The frequency so bright and light, it vibrates. Hirokoire shia soroto. Feel the energy begin to pour in. A warm embrace. As you elevate to the higher planes of consciousness, you feel the energy of yourself flowing through. Allow this divine light to anchor. You are here experiencing something beautiful, a life of light, of peace, of balance. Feel the energy as it begins to pour down your third eye into your throat chakra, clearing down into your heart space. Your solar plexus lights up and enters a state of knowing. Feel the energy in your sacral and root. With each breath, you feel more grounded. You feel the embodiment of self. You feel the energy of you, your highest self, flowing. Allow this state of peace to be your reminder that you are the divine being. You are the highest version of yourself. You are loved and worthy of it. This state of being can be reached anytime you need it by placing your hands on your heart space and pulling the energy down, feeling it flow in every cell of your body, and remembering who you are. I am always at your service. I thank you. Hi, my friends. I hope that you are all feeling safe within your body. The remembering that when we anchor in our higher self energy, our channel is protected, our body is safe. We are unable to be messed with, essentially, right? So you saw it live, what was happening. There was, we'll call it interference that occurred when I was in the channel. And there was a shift in the energy, and we were able to navigate it, right, by clearing, because that's important to be able to do, and then bringing forward a balancing energy. When I'm in a channel, I am conscious and paying attention to all of the things that are occurring around it. And basically, we're playing okay, you're out, you're in. Where are we going? What's happening? And there can be energies when we're dealing with some darker things that kind of try to latch on and to try to hijack the channel. So that's where it's important to really learn how to hold the space, learn how to command it, and learn how to navigate these things, keep them out. When we are channeling, we're protecting ourselves and the whole container, right? Everyone was in this container of light, and we bring forth these different energies so that you can experience them. So, my friends, if anyone has questions, please you can drop them in the comments too. I think we're pretty much at the end, right? Is that I don't
Yeah,
I
almost. Yeah, thank you so much, Krissy. We do have a question here from Mern, asking if Michael is the brother of Lucifer. Maybe you could talk about the relationship between those energies.
Sure. The relationship with the energies they are both archangels, right? They're both so in a sense, every archangel is related, right? The story of Michael actually kicking Lucifer out of heaven is something that is, in the book of Revelation, right? They talk about that, and it's important to remember that in these things and in these biblical contexts, we are receiving stories that are skewed in a way, right? Because these things have been translated and are meant to perpetuate a very particular point of view. So I like to stay unbiased in the way that I present things. There and give as many different perspectives as possible. So if we're looking from it at it from like a biblical sense, these are yes, essentially siblings, and Michael kicked Lucifer out of heaven, right? When we're looking at it from a different perspective, that's a little bit more of we're gonna call it 20,000 foot view. What was happening on Earth at the time, this is going to be a little bit more of like that star seed side of it. What was happening on Earth at the time was the use of like humans basically being created, and we have an energy that is why don't we help, like we should help them, we should teach them how to use their gifts, like wouldn't that be kind of cool? And so in that we get this disconnect between somebody who we'll call Lucifer is in this point that he needs to protect and give human beings empowerment. The idea of gifting them with this gift of knowledge was like, I'm going to help them, right? They deserve to know this stuff so they don't get taken advantage of. And like, they're so powerful. Why are you keeping them as slaves? Right. And so that creates fury, right? But these are all different types of ways of looking at it. And when we remember that this is all just energy ex- that we are able to experience here, we have to kind of lean into each story, see how it feels within our body, see how it feels to us. So I feel how, based on my knowledge of what the energy of the light bearer comes through with, it's knowledge. It is forbidden knowledge, essentially. And it is things that are slightly rebellious, right? So for me, feels the way that I see it is that truth of helping people and with the intention of bringing knowledge and gifts and things like that to humanity. The unforeseen consequence of power struggles and pain and all of the other things that ended up happening because of it was like, oh shit. Like, so yes, this is a long way around to get to that.
We have one more question here from Themia. He's asking, what caused the interference and need to switch to Michael?
Sure. So the interference was caused by another energy that was trying to come through once like it was made clear that it was going to be a transmission to help um anchor in our higher self energy more. There was another energy that kind of tried to come in and say like we're 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 here, we're waiting, we're going to hijack, right? And so that's no, we're not going to do that because we're divinely protected and we don't need that. So it was to create and instill the fact within all of us that we are able to keep that perimeter and we can work with both the light and the dark and choose where we're going and find the balance between the two, right? We don't need to just sit in one or sit in the other. It's the two that work together, right? They worked together to be like, you know what? Let's give this to Michael to do the thing because that will make people feel more comfortable.
Yes, yeah. Well, it's key that you just said work with both, right?
Yeah.
This, these are energies to be worked with, and both all of them have gifts for us. And we'll just do one more question here. So no more questions, anyone, but we'll ask this one here from Claire. What about the influence of future lives on the present one?
There are absolutely huge ways that the future lives can impact our present life. So we hold the patterning for all of it, right? We hold all of these things within our field. And that's where sometimes we have these magnificent ideas in this life because we've experienced them in the future, right? And we might, and not just this life's future, but something going ahead. Um, right now, they want to bring up the idea of we'll call it instant karma, and this idea of being able to tap into the potentials of what could happen with an experience, right? So when we are making our decisions in this life, the further up we are on that ascension path, the further up we are in embodying our highest self, our true self, the more connected we are to the potential consequences of our actions. So, the interesting thing about future lives is they're not all guaranteed, right? Each interaction that we have is going to dictate how our soul unfolds and where we end up going. Um, in all time is now. So I hope that helps a little bit.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely. It's beautiful. Thank you so much, Chrissy. And love for you just to share where people can find out more about you. If they want to work with you, how can they do that?
Sure. I am on Enlightened channel. Enlightened.channel is on all Instagram, TikTok. I'll drop my link tree in the chat and you can book a session there. I have private one-on-ones. I also do have a channeling school that's opening in September, and we'll be helping people to learn how to channel, how to discern energies, how to create the space for themselves. So that's
That's
all in the
beautiful.
link tree.
Yeah, channeling is first contact. We're channeling and connecting with our own versions of ourselves, different beings.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, tune into Chrissy's work, but definitely her Instagram because her Instagram, she puts in these like little cool reels, a minute long or so, that she's just dropping knowledge all the time, lots of wisdom coming from it. So, Chrissy, I appreciate you so much. You're amazing. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much, Neil. Thank you for having me. Thank you,
Talk soon.
everybody.
Bye.